What's up, everybody? This is Dan Thompson from AroundTheAssociation.com, and this is the Around the Association podcast for June 27, 2018, the Austin Rivers trade breakdown edition. So, last night in the NBA, the first major trade happened as we get closer to free agency starting on Sunday with the LA Clippers trading of guard Austin Rivers to the Washington Wizards in exchange for center Martin Gortat. So, let's look at the trade from both perspectives. On a landslide on your main level, this trade is kind of a lateral trade. Salaries pretty much match, so that's the reason why it was a one-for-one deal. The trade doesn't eat into any cap space for either one of the two teams, like Washington had any cap space to be giving up in the first place or even trying to attract any major free agents. And in the case of the Clippers, it doesn't eat into any existing cap they do have. They still have guys under salary, which with cap situations, including DeAndre Jordan, which I'll get to in just one moment. So, let's take a look at everything from the Wizards' perspective and why the Wizards made this deal. Well, it's not well known. It's pretty much well known in most cases that John Wall and Martin Gortat didn't see eye to eye, especially after John Wall's injury last season, and the Wizards started playing some of their best basketball of the season at that point in time. Gortat and John Wall kind of didn't exactly see eye to eye on some things, and it kind of got in the media, and really the relationship kind of was strained at that point in time. Gortat averaged 8 points and 7.5 rebounds a game, his lowest point total since he became a starter full-time, going back to his Orlando days, almost 8-9 years ago. So he started for the Wizards for the last 5 years. Like I said, was a double-digit scorer, right around 8 rebounds a game for his Wizard career. Now, what that does for Washington is that Washington still has an issue at the center position, and trading Gortat with 1 year left on his deal is not exactly the easiest transition period, which means the Wizards could be going after a center as of Sunday, a.k.a. Dwight Howard, a.k.a. hey, let's go find a center. Greg Monroe could be an option. What Gortat brought to the Wizards was a rebounder and a guy who was a tough guy. Him next to Markieff Morris gave the Wizards a kind of a edge on the front line. Kind of a physical presence. And really, Gortat at 34 is not the same Gortat we saw in Orlando at 25 or even the same Gortat that was in Phoenix, but Gortat was very serviceable, and he got the job done. He wasn't one of those pretty guys. He was just one of those, those lunch pail, garbage type guys that got things done. Now, what he's going to do out in LA is that really, on the LA perspective, is really this is DeAndre Jordan insurance. Jordan has not made a decision on what he's going to do. He's potentially going to opt into that $24 million contract that he is due next season. If he does, well, he's going to ask to be traded. Jordan's not going to want to stay the entire season in LA as they try to go through a change and a rebuilding situation out in LA. As Jordan re-signed a couple years ago, remember with the Dallas Mavericks, and then he went back to LA. He was under the impression of Lob City being there. Well, in the last 12 months, Chris Paul has been moved to Houston, and Blake Griffin was traded to Detroit. So really, most of Lob City is gone. Now Austin Rivers is now gone as well too. So if you think about it, the only members left of the original Lob City is DeAndre Jordan and Doc Rivers. Wesley Johnson's also available, is still in the roster as well too, but that just tells you how much turnover the Clippers have. So Gortat will be the perfect insurance just in case DeAndre Jordan is traded or he decides to opt out later on this week. And like I said, Gortat will be nice and serviceable, but the most important thing with Gortat is it's an expiring contract that will come off the books before Gortat, ends up being 35. Now, on the Wizards side of things, Washington needed guard help. They went and got Troy Brown in the draft. He's a combo guy. Another guy, Kelly Oubre. And now, really, with Austin Rivers in the fold, what that does is give the Wizards another solid guard to go off the bench with Thomas Satoransky. Like I said, they have Kelly Oubre, they have Brown, they have Jody Meeks. But Rivers comes in as now the lead guard, can play both guard positions. He averaged 15 points and 4 assists a game with 1.2 steals, his best defensive season of his career last season. So he's able to play both combo guard positions, and at the same time, he can play with Brad Beal because he knows how to play point guard, and he's a solid enough shooter if John Wall wants to be in the game with him. He also can shoot the basketball as well too. Rivers provides them a third guard, and in the NBA's going forward, you need as many guards as possible. Now, if this doesn't work, there's also a 1 year deal behind him. I think it's almost $11.9 million. So really, it's a low risk, high reward situation for Washington as they try to make a deeper run into the playoffs. Now, it does take a little bit of the depth away from the Wizards on the front line. Jan Mahimi, Jason Smith are not exactly world beaters at the center position, so they're struggling at center. The Wizards could go after, like I said, Dwight Howard or Greg Monroe, among other free agent centers that are out there. They could be in the trade market. I don't think DeAndre Jordan's going to be in the trade market, but you don't know what the Clippers, the Wizards could pull off. Maybe John Henson, if he becomes available. If Jordan, let's just say, signs out in Milwaukee or signs in Dallas, there's going to be some kind of center movement. Maybe even the Wizards can try to call and try to make a trade for another disgruntled center around the league. We're not sure yet. But really what the Wizards did with this trade is that they added another guard, another scorer, and really within times where John Wall and Bradley Beal are either not on the floor or one of them is injured, Rivers can step in and make a huge play. Just imagine if when Rivers could have been on this roster at the same time when John Wall was hurt. Thomas Saransky was actually really good and played some of his best basketball of his NBA career. During that time, you still need another guard. And in NBA, you can never have enough good quality players. So Scott Brooks does have another score off the bench. Like I said, Rivers is known for being a nice microwave off the bench. Like I said, 15 points a game last year in LA. Playing in a backcourt that didn't have Patrick Beverley the whole season. Milos Telovic struggled the entire season. And, it's still a transition period. Rivers is still, like I said, a tweener, and he still hasn't reached his full potential. And yes, I know people are saying Doc Rivers traded his own son, but really, I think behind the scenes, Jerry West and Lawrence Frank are making those decisions. So we're going to have a lot of these podcasts coming up, like I said, because the NBA free agency will begin officially on Saturday because that's when July 1 kicks in and players can start negotiating with teams. The opt-out is the 28th, which is tomorrow. So most of the guys in the NBA have until tomorrow, no later than Friday, to make their intentions known. But on this particular podcast, like I said, we went over the Austin Rivers trade. So really, for me, let me grade the trade completely down. I give the Clippers a C on this deal because, it is a nice stopgap. Gortat will be a nice fit, especially we'll know his role once DeAndre Jordan's situation is finished. And I think for the Wizards, this is a B-. Anytime you can add an offensive player to a team that can use offense, the Wizards did struggle, especially off the bench with scoring. You can get as much scoring options as possible. So check out the website, which is aroundtheassociation.com. We're under construction right now, so that's why the site is down for a couple days, but there's some changes going on. Follow me at Twitter at NBADT29. Also the Facebook page, Around the Association Radio. There will be a Facebook Live video today. I will explain free agency to some of those who don't have the complete understanding of free agency. So I'm going to give a nice breakdown for those who are entering free agency because at this point in time, NBA free agency is some of the best times you're going to have in the NBA. So for AroundTheAssociation.com, this is Danny Thompson. Danny Thompson signing off. Catch you guys later. Peace.